Hey.
All right, so welcome again to Blerd.Talk. Jock, you're back. You're back, and
Indeed.
you're here for good. You're staying.
I'm here to
Welcome.
stay. Thank
Um,
you.
Mm-hmm.
we're going to talk about a bit of controversy here in the Blerd Kingdom at a BlerdCon in Arlington, Virginia.
Arlington, Virginia,
Arlington, Virginia.
2021.
From I'm not big into cosplay or the cosplay community, but from what I understand, a person without melanin won the best costume or the
Call
best
it what it
cosplay.
is. Call it what it is. A white
Uh,
person won.
a white
A
person,
Caucasian, you could
A
say.
Caucasian individual.
a white individual, won best cosplay, and it sent the whole entire community into a frenzy. Uh,
Yes.
but Alex,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like you feel very strongly about this. Would you like to? Would you like to?
Especially as a participant as well on
Exactly.
Saturday's occasion. But see, now after talk with you, I'm like, I don't even want to read what I typed up for like 2 hours just to
I
say
mean,
about it.
consider it a draft and just
Yeah.
wing
But
it.
yeah, well, we'll just use it as talking points. So the bigger issue, just so we can streamline a couple definitions, because there was a couple definition arguments I saw in the thread as well of like, how could this happen at BlerdCon and all these other things. So first, just definition wise, BlerdCon, or should I say the word blurred for those who do not know, is a mixture of the word black and the word nerd. You take the BL in black, mash it together with the ERD in nerd, and we have blurred, standing for a black nerd or anyone black who enjoys geeky or nerdy things. When diving a bit deeper into the actual per se like definition, like there's Webster's definition, there's Urban Dictionary's definition. There's actually apparently a Blerd.com webpage that defines it, and this is where definitions get kind of hazy. So the funny thing about it, obviously, a definition I told you is matching the word black and nerd together. So you would assume to be a blerd, you must be black,
or a
right?
nerd.
Or a person of color, things of that, right? So I'm gonna read you the definition per BlerdCon's website, or not BlerdCon the convention, but just BlerdCon.com. So per their definition here, it stands for describing a person of color who enjoys things nerdy and geek, regardless of gender, skin tone, sexuality, etc. However, it then contradicts itself later. It right here saying person of color enjoys blah 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 blah, incredibly strange because it actually includes people who just enjoy nerdy stuff in general. So one definition of it states that pretty much you must be black. The other one states no, you just must enjoy nerd type things. So it's a definition that self contradicts itself.
Then, so let's say if gender or race doesn't matter, then just be a nerd.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
The
just a
next thing
nerd.
is just
Yeah.
just use the word nerd. But for whichever reason, a lot of the times in our community, because of things that have happened in the past, we did not feel that we were included in things, so we created things for ourselves, including words. So this is one of those things where a majority of people kind of look at it and say, "Why don't you just call yourself a nerd still?" And people don't feel like they're included in that sphere, which is why they use the word blurred. We use it more like as a descriptor here, saying like, oh, if you see the word blurred, you kind of know what you're getting into, like a black whatever kind of thing it's describing. But it's more so just it being more of a descriptive term of being just more helpful in determining what you're going into. Is kind of how I would say with that.
Yeah. And also I would say like aside from like the experience of being a black nerd being different, but also like it definitely is sort of like its own like thing. Like it's kind of like it's like there's a difference between like a weeaboo and like the typical nerd also. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
So I think it kind of falls into that area where it's like there's a lot of things that you can expect. So for example, the odds that a blerd likes Dragon Ball Z, pretty high,
Mm.
like little things like that. And then like, the odds that like you were the only black nerd in your school or like one of two and like, all of that stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff that does make it like its own thing. But so I'm just gonna hop right into like my big issue, what happened with BlerdCon, because like it's been itching me for like an hour now.
Well, let's explain like more in depth of like what happened for people who don't know, I'd say.
That's a good call. Yeah. Let's explain.
So the long story short, for people who are unaware what happened or unaware of like cosplay, things of that nature. So a lot of the times for people who, and some people may refer to it a little bit differently, which we may get some heat about costuming or costumes and things like that. So the art of donning that piece or those pieces of attire to look or to mimic another character and or an individual character we know as cosplay. But for some people, they may call it costuming or in their costumes, things like that. I don't really take offense with it like that, but I know a lot of people do. But for the sake of this, for the cosplay convention that's centered in Black culture and things like that, for the cosplay contest, which can be entered by anyone, but just to let you guys know, it is a contest for everyone, all-inclusive event. A white person won, and many people, a white woman won. And many people feel that should not have been the case because there are XYZ spaces for white people. Some people felt like it was a slap in the face because it's a Black-centered convention. So how can a white person win it? And the list kind of goes on from there. But those are the two main pressing concerns that I see from it. Go ahead and address your point there, John.
And therein lies like, so going back to contradictory definition, it's like if a white person winning a contest was not something that should ever happen, then they should also not have been able to enter. Like, no rules were broken, right? Like, it's like the person did nothing wrong. Like, no one did anything wrong here, at least by like the rules. It's like anyone can go. Anyone who can enter a contest should be able to win it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, just simply, it's just that simple. And if maybe like they had something where it's like, well, if you're white, you're just there for show, and maybe like it's just a gallery type situation, that would have been a very different scenario. But like my main thing is like no one broke any rules. I don't even understand how anyone is genuinely surprised at this point, because it's just like, yeah, someone entered the contest and someone won. Like, holy crap, But some of the conversations that are coming out of it are kind of interesting, where it's like, is that space that is meant for blurs, is that somewhere where like maybe you shouldn't have like prominent like white nerds, for example, or like should it not be somewhere where like they get to kind of like win the contest? But like I feel like most people would kind of agree that like the idea of like all of a sudden let's just ban white people from BlerdCon seems a little ridiculous.
Very
right.
ridiculous.
And like banning, yeah, I mean, I was trying to be nice, but and then like banning them from the contest is also ridiculous, and like banning them from winning, though maybe they can enter the contest, is also ridiculous. So I'm kind of sitting and I'm just like, the logic fell apart dramatically, and you can see it in like the way that they define in the website. It's like in the same goddamn sentence, you're like, oh, a colored person, but then it's like, but this is regardless of gender, race, and so on. And it's just like, like we can't, like my big issue is like we can't keep having these like ridiculous contradictions and then just like blow up. It just doesn't make sense. Like it's like the comparison I like to say is like, if you were coding this would never compile. You know what I mean? Like it just wouldn't run. It's just like this doesn't make sense. Like we're in this situation now, and I'm just like, there is no logic, even though like the feelings that are brought up are coming from like a place like I can kind of understand. Like I can understand how you might feel like it's a slap in the face that like a white girl won the Blerd cosplay contest. I can understand how emotionally that works. But as far as like any logic, like logic has left the building. And that's like my big like contention point with the whole situation. Like I understand the feelings, and I do think like there are good questions being raised here, but like the actual event itself of that person winning, there's nothing wrong with that. But the emotional reaction makes sense. Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say like I find this whole situation similar to the usage of the N-word. and if white people should say it or not. It's like the same avenue. I feel like we so like with
But you
Blerd,
don't win the contest though.
right? I mean, I
And you
would hope
know,
not.
and
would
one
hope-
additional
actually-
thing that might actually change some people's thought process for it. So the winner of the BlerdCon cosplay convention actually goes to AwesomeCon to represent BlerdCon. So that person will be a representative of the winner of the convention.
So okay, so for
Why
me to,
why does things have to get spicy like this?
Yeah. So that was another thing I was gonna say. Let's not forget that, because that's actually relatively important to think about with it as well.
so when it was brought to my attention, this whole shit show of a thing,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, why is this a big deal? So I was analyzing it, and I was like, oh, like I said, it's like almost like the N-word. Like me and Alex had this conversation. Should certain people, does it belong to a certain group of people? Like, so for me to rationalize it, Blerd and the N-word is like, toss it up there. This belongs to African Americans. Only we can use these words, right? But then if you throw somebody white in there, it's like, no, my God, no, it's not possible. You can't do it. So I was like, okay, I can understand. Okay, I get it now. That's how I rationalize it. That's how I put it together in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can, like Jock said, I can understand why they would be upset. I get it. This is for us, by us, FUBU. And you, some caucus lady, wins it. I'm like, huh? Like how? Like I thought this was for black people, but like y'all said, logically, y'all let her get in the building. Y'all let her enter.
Yeah.
So
She did nothing wrong, technically. Like,
so
No,
and
not
but
even
then,
technically. It's
there's no
literally,
technicality.
like-
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
if
no
anything,
technicality at all.
BlerdCon.
this isn't
if
even a
anything, BlerdCon
technicality.
messed up.
Like
Yeah.
it is an inclusive environment for people who are fighting for equality. And then when equality happens, we're mad.
So, like you said, don't miss the fact that like the winner of this represents BlerdCon
Mm-hmm.
on a bigger stage, right? At what's the other con?
AwesomeCon.
AwesomeCon.
Mhm.
So, how does it look for a white girl to represent BlerdCon on a bigger stage?
So let me tell you my
gives me
thought process with that one when I
flashbacks.
found that out. So at first, it's like I forgot the person's name, but he's like the dude at the Oscars, and his face is like that.
Oh yeah.
It's literally that face when you learn that, right? And I wanted to throw it in after the logic is taking place, because you're like, oh. But then, like, when you think about it, right? Think about politics, or think of any pageant in the world. Like, think about Miss America, right? It might be the opposite jarring reaction when like a black person wins Miss America, and then white people are like, but how can that be possible? But the thing is,
almost like if a man win Miss America.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, just like that. A man
Yeah.
winning a beauty pageant, right? So it's like these are the rules of it, and people can represent other people whether they're a part of that community or not. Like someone else who's white can still appreciate or have knowledge of the black community and represent that. Just because you may not come directly from that community doesn't mean you don't have knowledge, information, or the ability to represent them. It's the same thing like lawyer cases when people get sent to jail and things like that. They don't always look the same. It's the same thing for biracial families when they have kids. Like just because you don't look that part doesn't mean you can't play that part.
Oh, Jock itching. I see it.
Yeah, okay. I need to break this. The lawyer thing is true, but it's not quite similar enough to the situation for it. So I think that like past a certain point, you actually do need to be the entity to represent the entity. And I don't just mean this in the like, so I guess like an easy one that's just hanging there. It's like none of us actually know what it's like to be a girl, for example. Right. And it's like we can research, we can talk, we can, talk to everyone we've ever met and study and and get degrees. But at the end of the day, like none of us actually know. And like there is sort of like a hard limit of our actual representational ability, even though you can be an advocate, which is why the lawyer thing works. Because the lawyer doesn't need to genuinely like know intimately what it's like to be the person in that seat. They might, and it might help. But in this case, this is kind of one of those situations where it's like, this is more of like an ambassador / representative role that kind of needs to be like, there is an image to this. And this is where I think the more I learn about this, the more I feel like a BlerdCon, and I almost said BlerdTalk. The more I hear about this, the more I feel like, the more I feel like BlerdCon is actually my fault here. Because because they knew that was the prize, and they knew, well, maybe not knew, but like they created the situation where there was a chance that a white person would win. And then the judges decided to have a white person win. And I imagine knowing that they're going to end up being this representative. I don't see why you had to link it with the contest. I think you could have just made it something where like people get specifically chosen just to be the representative, because that's also like kind of a big deal, and that I don't understand why you would link that to winning the contest either. Like, it seems like they just mix things that didn't belong together in a weird way.
Oh,
like black and white.
What you're
what you're saying? I said that I do, but
what you're saying is that they shouldn't. What you're trying to say is like they have the costume contest, but choosing a representative for like the con to make that separately.
Yes, that's like
that's logical, but it raises even more issues.
So
because it's honestly there is no good way to solve anything that happened. Like, it'd be like, yeah, we could just we could choose this person just because they're black, and if a white person had like a better costume, like, okay, so I had this example for Alex earlier. So there's a guy named Maul, right? He's a cosplayer, a damn good one. He does a Witcher cosplay, really good. If he would have went to BlerdCon and he won, and people were like, oh man, why he won? He's white or something like that. If you literally look at his outfit, his cosplays, I'd be like, there shouldn't have been anybody else that would have won. Like, he's like literally professional level like cosplays, like what he does. Yeah. Now, if he would have lost, and then somebody that just didn't have as much work as he did, that would also raise other questions. Be like, so this person just won because they black. So
damn if you do, damn if you don't. Like,
yeah,
that's what situation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like either or what you do, it's gonna be and this is the way we set everything up now, because we always want this, that, this, and this black, this white, this black, this. So it makes it controversial no matter what you do. Somebody's butt is gonna be hurt.
And it doesn't help that they kind of like retconned the contest winner.
Yeah, the retconning was a bad move. Also.
And I think it was and they had a video on their page. My cousin was telling me they removed the video. I don't know exactly what video she was referring to, but they had a video. They removed the video. They retconned the winner and gave it to a black person. And it's like, now it's like you're looking at them like what?
See, now
what's the end?
us logically thinking about it? It's like us logically thinking about it will get us, as Alex will say, canceled. But to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is good. That's the right thing to do." Yeah, honestly,
maybe.
Like, honestly, in my mind, I'm like, "Oh." She was like, "Oh, so you just won the contest because you black?"
Yeah,
that's basically why.
Maybe
that's basically what that is now. Like, that's literally what that turned into.
Yeah, that's what it's going to turn into, and that's the bad thing. Like, there could be some. There's going to be some people that come in a BlerdCon or something like that, and they will literally pour their heart and soul into their outfit. White, doesn't matter, and they win. And they could just get scorched because they not the color domain or the convention. Like,
yeah, like
I would be.
You're not allowed to gender bend or anything. Like,
yeah, like any like it's just like, really, bro. Like how we, like, we're supposed to be talking about
inclusivity, like literal
like
inclusivity,
equality and all that
Equality
stuff
and
and everything like that, and
anti-discrimination.
anti-discrimination and everything. But literally all they did was just do exactly what they're trying to fight against. And it's just like, I don't even know what y'all fighting for anymore.
It's not for the love of cosplay anymore. Like,
yeah, it's not for love cosplay.
It's developed into the most toxic, well, one of the most toxic communities I've even heard of. And it's like, I'm not even into cosplay. I never been to a con. I know like a Comic Con, Anime Con, nothing. But hearing that, I don't want to.
Yeah. The harm that this has caused that people don't realize for every spectator looking from the outside in and everyone who was a part of the community looking from the inside out is just immeasurable. Because now you'll have people from this day second guessing, man, should I even enter this? I may not even be the right color to do this. And the other people, and some people that play the devil's advocate, some people in our community will be like, great, that's exactly how we felt, and we're proud that you feel that way. But at the end of the day, does that really actually make a better tomorrow for anyone?
And then at the end of the day, what's going to eventually happen is if that keeps going, if it keeps going over and over and over again and stuff like that and everything's like that, it's going to be really, really hard to have a BlerdCon because certain places are not just going to want to have us in their place anymore. That's what's going to happen at the end of the day. And people don't realize that because that's what happens with I'm going to go way back with the voice actor thing. When people were complaining, when a person that played Cleveland's voice was a white guy, he stepped down because he was like, yeah, I don't feel like I should be. You're a voice actor. You're doing the voice of that. You've been doing that voice for years. And people were like, yeah, you should do that. And I'm just like, yeah, that's going to hurt Black people in the long run because a lot of writers or stuff like that are white are just gonna be like, yeah, I don't want to put a Black person in there because now I have to find a Black person. It's just too much work. I just can't get a person that's just good for the voice.
Yeah, so, and I mean, it's unfortunate. It's sad. It's a headache. Like they think about like as far as venues not even want to host. Like I said, I was talking to my cousin earlier, and she felt like it's become. She said they're so disorganized and mismanaged. I could see the con becoming defunct or getting acquired by a bigger company.
Yep.
And she said she's supposed to be at Awesome Con next month.
Yeah.
She's working at it. And she don't even think she won't even be a part of it no more.
Yeah.
And she's heavy into cosplay as well.
Yeah.
And so then it's like if it gets acquired by like a bigger company, whoever it may be, then y'all gonna complain about that.
Yep.
Oh, they took this from us. They
don't want to represent us. They don't have our best interest in mind. Like,
right. So
their best interest is making money. So, and unfortunately, you need money to run these cons. So, it's you either got to take it, or that's it. That's at the end of the day.
Okay, so like let's say we're running a con, right? We are toxic. We mess it up, and company A comes in, acquires the rights or whatever to it, and they run it completely opposite of how we wanted it to be. We're gonna feel a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be like, this is not what we wanted. This is not what we asked for. But y'all fucked it up. Y'all fucked it up to the point where it had to be acquired by someone to run it. Cool. I'm saying run it right. Y'all brought this on to yourselves. Stop being toxic. Just go ahead.
Have fun. Like the whole point of cosplay, when I first started cosplay, like 14, 15 or some shit like that. When I first started, it was just fun. Like that was the whole point of it. Have fun and all that. Now it's just everything's getting put into a political standpoint. And it's and honestly, it's not cool. It's not. It's actually getting kind of annoying now because now people have to be careful of what they say, what they do, this, that, all these other things and all that. And like BlerdCon had a strict mandate. Like, yo, have your vaccine or you can't go. And a large amount of the people didn't go because they didn't have their vaccine. Like, come on. Y'all want something to stay open, stay up, but y'all can't even follow some simple rules. Go get your vaccine. The state says to go get your vaccine anyway so we can get ourselves straight. Everybody over here like, oh no, they gonna try to implant a bug in me or something like, well, you just gonna die. Like, there you go.
I heard.
I would love to tackle that topic on a different talking point, but I'm trying my best to stay focused on this one because there's still a lot to be said. And I wanted to address some of the points Jock made earlier. So, so the ambassador talk, the lawyer representative, that portion of it, I understand where you're going from or coming from with it. And there are definitely some exceptions to the rules of saying, hey, you need someone who is actually in that role to represent it. But for most things here that I can think about that play a important role in our life, there needs to be a difference level of skill, not a difference level of race. And that's what it boils down to here. We need this contest, any contest in general. This is saying who has the highest level or highest caliber of skill, not who looks the part. Is a contest based on that to determine it. In the same way, there should never be a barrier of entry based off of race. And I'm just a firm believer that for anything, if your barrier of entry is based off of race, I don't like what you're doing already. There needs to be a metric for that is equal across the board there.
Yes, and I think I need to kind of explain a point. The contest, there's nothing wrong with the person winning because they had the best cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
I think the representative thing should have been split from the contest because it just doesn't make sense. Because there's also the idea of like, well, does having a better cosplay necessarily make you like a better representative for the Blerd community?
Well, you would want and see, like, I get what you're saying with that. So to be the focal point of it, but still the piggyback of it, you don't have to exactly be that to represent it. That's where I'm coming from.
The nature of what it is, you kind of do. I think for almost everything you can, and here's the thing, there is actually a good chance that like she actually could just go there and represent BlerdCon and be fine. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, because it's a tough one because on one hand, like there is actually the possibility just like she can do it and that the role doesn't necessarily require you to actually be a Black nerd. But I think because that role is kind of like, it's more symbolic, it's more representative, I guess. Like you kind of need to look the part. Like it's
the image.
This is one of those weird things about there. Yes, this is exactly. This is like a matter of image, not so much about like
not as much about skill.
Yeah, actually,
like,
we need to just eliminate skill. I'm not going to try and claim you're saying
skill's not important, but image plays a part too, is what you're saying. It's what it sounds
but for this specifically, it's so image driven that I'm just like, that idea of skill as a cosplayer almost like it almost doesn't matter. Like it'll probably help, but I feel like this is more about an image thing, which I think is also why, like, again, I understand emotionally why people got so upset because like that image doesn't look good and probably gave some people PTSD. So like and here's another thing. Let me get really inflammatory for a second. There is a very particular issue with specifically having a white woman represent the Blerd community. It's the issue that like that on sort of like if we're gonna play like the racial politics game, that relationship has never been all that great. There's a lot of tension, and there's also, I remember a specific period in time, and this is like one of the weirdest things I've experienced, where when sort of like the social justice movement was like really kicking off, you would get yelled at for not being upset at your oppression by white women. I don't know if you guys remember that period of time.
I remember that.
But that was looking
weird. Off into the distance.
Right? Wait. And now that I've brought this back to you, do you see how like it kind of gets like the image thing is very sensitive because there's like these bizarre histories, and that this has got to be one of the craziest cases of like Murphy's Law I've ever seen. Because this is so much bad luck that like this exact situation
like the
happened.
Chances of all of this happening and it happening right now in the social climate history.
It's like,
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I would That might have been on purpose. I'm not gonna lie, because I was trying to wrap my head around
They
why
trying to
the
stir the
judges
pot.
did that.
Oh no, man! Conspiracy.
but
Here we go.
It's
Stirring the
such a
pot.
big blunder, right? It's such a big blunder that it either was an honest mistake or done on purpose. Because it's so like
You mistakenly crown her number one.
Like
nah.
but what Jack is saying, you gotta assume people cannot be this obtuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah,
They
I think
can't.
they can.
I mean,
Nah,
yeah,
I've been alive long
obviously,
enough.
obviously
to
they
see.
can.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's
That's
like
the
you
thing,
remember when you asked me, Alex, last night, how would I
Yeah,
feel if a white girl dressed up as Shuri and I like almost blew a gasket? Or
So this is after. So let me tell you in chat real quick. So after I led him down the path of him saying, "Hey man, look, cosplay is for fun. You can go as anyone, right?" And he agreed wholeheartedly, and I was like, "Great." So because he's such a huge Black Panther fan, right? I was like, "Yeah." So how would you feel? You're talking to this person and they cosplay as Shuri, but they're a white girl. How would you feel?
and I killed it
this
right
fine?
there. It was dead on arrival. I said, hell
I
no.
tried to deliver
Hell
the
no.
package and it was still in my hands. I
was like, hell no. He was like,
It died.
why?
It
He was
died
like,
in my hands.
he was like, why? I said, I'm very sensitive when it comes to Black Panther. So therefore, I would take no slander, and that slander includes a white woman dressing up as Shuri. So I said that she has the freedom to do that. I just don't like it.
Yeah, you cannot like it.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
So
no, that's
and then,
I respect that, actually,
he would have countered that with some foolishness and saying, "How would you feel if a white kid dressed up as Malcolm X?" I was like, "Oh my god!"
Damn, Alex, you wanted it.
Yeah,
he was poking the bear.
I really picked his brain. I really wanted to pick his brain on.
So I was like, same reaction. I said, I'm not Muslim. I said, but I'm very extremely sensitive because my mom had a Malcolm X poster in the house. I see that every time I walk to the house, boom, Malcolm X is right there. So for whatever reason, for no real rhyme or reason, Malcolm X is my guy. So he's my guy.
This piggybacks on the image part that you were saying though, Jock, because I'm not going to disagree. Image does matter. Image is very important. But then this thing kind of falls back on like who's holding the L in this bag, and it's a difficult way to say because in most actualities it seems like BlerdCon based on the word BlerdCon and what they want it to be. Because if you think about any other convention, like let's use AwesomeCon for example. AwesomeCon by itself doesn't have any racial like implications with it. Therefore, any winner who wins AwesomeCon, you're just like, all right, whatever. But BlerdCon does have a racial implication within it. So you would inherently think, okay, the winner of whoever is going to represent BlerdCon should probably be a Blerd. Like that makes logical sense, right?
Yeah, but then you shouldn't logically let a white person enter the contest. Like, but then that opens up a whole nother book. That's why
the thing is
opens up a whole nother can of worms.
Discriminatory though.
Exactly what I'm saying. It opens up a whole nother can of worms. Then it's like, oh, why are you discriminating against white people? Well, damn.
You know what? I'm starting to wonder if that actually was it. This is.
But they made it clear on their website. So just to let you guys know, double check went through.
Yeah,
the first rule of their website is have fun. Second rule, anyone can enter. If you're sitting here and you have this movement based on inclusivity, based on not being discriminatory, based on you guys need to treat us the same way you guys treat each other over there, then it shouldn't be a surprise or shock when someone else other than you wins, because that's the equality and the anti-discrimination working.
And that's the conspiracy job. There you go. They put that, they planned it from the very beginning. From the founding of the company.
Planned. So the thing is, it wasn't planned. It wasn't planned.
I know. I'm just messing with Josh.
But I know. But like the worst thing is like people when she won that convention, I was like, okay, let me look. I looked at the outfit. It was a nice outfit. It was a really nice outfit. So people came up and was like, oh, she bought that outfit, this, that, and that. And they're doing anything to debunk all her anything that she did. And I'm just like, yo, you guys are all like literally like I was thinking to myself like you guys are all assholes like for real like I'm just like bruh like y'all supposed to be representing me? Hell nah.
So
Nah.
That's the other thing too, though, Jock, is like the community. Yes, she may be the representative of the winner of BlerdCon, but obviously a community is more than just one person. And even at the convention, I can say, based on going 90 to like 99% of that convention was nothing but Black people. It did what it wanted to do. The outreach they did to Black communities, HBCUs, things like that, they did what they expect to do. So you can still have something focused on the Black community and still bring people in to experience the Black community.
So yeah, I mean, it's never been a question that like they should be able to go.
Well, no, some like people are that radical, man. But some people
people like they shouldn't be able to go.
They should. Like, a lot of the times in the post I read, they were like, "Y'all shouldn't be opening the door for white people to walk in," and I'm just like, "Dang,
oof,
like, y'all just throwing out the discrimination, blatant."
And that's the funny thing about that also. Like, most of these conventions that are done, they're not done by the Black people. They usually done by white people, usually. So if they throw out that same logic, they say, "Oh, you shouldn't let." Why was some like what's stopping
them from saying
somebody at another
people?
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And it's just and then the funny thing, and then the funny thing about that, they'd be like, "Oh my God, they're doing it again!" But like, you just did it. Yeah. What do you mean? Like, it's like I don't understand. I've been trying to understand the African American thought process, and I always had me just running into a wall, like trying to. It just doesn't I just don't understand it. I don't understand like our community, our cult. I don't understand it. Like I'm like, bro.
Oh no! Don't give them fuel. They're gonna watch this and say, "See, he don't understand. He can't talk about this issue."
I swear to God, if I hear the term race traitor come up,
no, they've been calling people coons.
They've been calling people coons and stuff all day. Like
they were calling them the white savior complex. I'm like, I ain't trying to save no one. Like,
nobody's trying to save anybody. I'm just trying to figure out what we want. That's what are we fighting for? Because we say we fight for something, and then we turn around and we renege. I'm like,
yeah. Oh, you can't say for equality, and then equality happens.
Yeah, I mean, some people want vengeance, some people want equality. I mean, that's the other thing too. Is like different people want different things, right? So,
we all gotta have a same term on what we all want in general. I don't want equality. I want equity. That's what I want. I want something.
Like we did not just do a podcast.
No sense.
No, we did
on that.
There's a reason why I picked this.
I was like, equality is not. It's not realistic. Let's be for real. Equality is not realistic. If a woman hits me, I should be able to deck her back. No, I'm going to jail. So like,
to elaborate in that point.
Yeah.
Since they had Redcon the winner, Jock, have you seen the new winner?
Nah.
The second place but first place winner?
Anybody got a link?
The cream winner, yo?
I was seeing you. I don't know.
Oh no, we're not. Oh, wow. We're not. No,
oh my God.
No.
So, but no. Okay. So the point of me bringing that
I need to see this.
So Alex and Kenny saw it last night because I shared it to them in the Discord.
What just happened?
I think he just went for a robot.
He said, "I'm back."
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
I'm back. Here we go.
I'll probably edit it. I don't know. But anyway, so so the new winner, second place, first place winner. I mean, I'm just gonna say it personally. I'm not impressed. So but it's like, so what is it about her? Well, we know what it's about. It's her because she's Black. But if you're gonna do it from a costume standpoint or cosplay quality standpoint, does she even deserve that? I'm pretty sure there's other. I saw random pictures on either through Facebook through Alex or Heather or just through random posts from other people, other Blerd communities or other Blerd talks or Blerd this, Blerd that, who shared it. Then it's like, do she even deserve it? But then I don't know if I'm feeding into the whole thing like one of them haters, like, oh well, she don't even deserve it neither. She don't even qualify. So it's like an endless circle of bullshit.
So the first thing I want to say with it is of course, that's why we have panels of judges who do cosplay / constructor in that community. So they're the ones that do it. Secondly, we don't know who entered. So you may have seen those amazing cosplays, but if they didn't
may not have entered, right?
Yeah, then it doesn't matter. And then lastly, of course, trying to find a panel of 3 people who are as unbiased as possible, or if they are biased, then people with opposite bias to try and balance out the panel. And trying to find unbiased people just it's not possible to be unbiased. We all have our different biases. But the thing is with it is just trying to get as close as possible judge-wise to vet judges who aren't biased. Now, could that winner from this one, could that have been a biased judge decision? Possibly. I don't know. But the outrage for it, if you don't believe that her outfit was as good as or better than other people, the outrage needs to be about this person's skill, not about the person's race. I'm all for people critiquing saying, man, that outfit ain't shit. All right, cool. Just explain why you believe this outfit isn't XYZ to your par standard. But if you're not a judge, if you're not there to inspect the imperfections, if you aren't there to understand the process they go through, if you're not reading through her portfolio, we don't know. So we're judging this person based off of issues and things that we don't have information on. So that's the issue I have with that, is because one, we didn't critique her outfit. Very few people critique her outfit till later. They critique, oh, it's a white person that won. Then the critique of outfit came, and it wasn't even a critique of her skills. It was saying it was store-bought. Oh, it looks like the Halloween thrift shop store, things like that. And for granted, one of the judges did speak in that kind of demeanor too, when they were talking about someone who was in like a Pringles can outfit and something like that. So look, it goes both ways with it, because we're not going to sit here and try and just say this one person, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, there are issues on both ends with it. But overall, the main issue I want to discuss with it is the outrage there is for this person winning.
Yeah, and I would say like we kind of agree that like there's really, this is not at all about the costume. Like none of this is about the costumes.
It doesn't actually feel that way now.
Yeah, and also like color. Yeah, and also like that. So that move, right, of like, you guys know how like emotions work, right? Where it's like first people feel the emotion and then they try to like explain and justify it. So that slander campaign that comes out about her outfit is them realizing like, oh, they're kind of having like this emotional reaction, which even though, again, we all understand and like there is some validity to it. But then like the slander campaign afterwards, just them trying to validate it. Like it's unfortunate that like a word comes to mind, like emotional intelligence is something I find like in a lot of those outrage situations, even though it's like the emotions are understandable, I think like the way that people go about expressing them and managing them and like how they just let them, I mean like this got vile. Like this got mean.
They were apparently sending death threats to people.
Yeah, like death threats is just too much.
It got
like
to the literally point where she got on Twitter and had a whole breakdown
Dude,
and apologized profusely.
Yeah.
And some people thought it was funny. Some people felt whatever. I'm kind of like, wow, this is like my initial reaction to the apology. I didn't even like necessarily like read it word for word. I just kind of like skimmed through it. And I'm just like, the fact that she's apologizing, I ain't gonna lie, some of the memes about it was funny. I'm not even gonna lie. I posted some in the Discord.
Funny. This is the internet.
But yeah, it's just kind of like for like, imagine how she as a white girl, not trying to sympathize, not trying to be a white sympathizer or nothing like that, but just imagine like how if like you're already out of your element by being white in a blurred or black community environment. Yeah. And then you win. Oh, y'all should be happy for him. But then they slam you. They slam the hell out of you. They slander you. They throw you up against a wall and
even when you were encouraged by your friends. And they were like, her friends were wrong for encouraging her to do this. I'm like, Why?
It's
Like she, according to her statement, she was like, "Yeah, I entered because I wanted someone to judge like my skills on things. I didn't expect to win." And I'm like, can you imagine? You're just like, I just want some good critique. Let me enter in this contest, or like you're in the FGC community. Hey man, I just want to like play this character. Let's see how good I am against other people. And then you win, and you're like, yo, like I'm good, like woo. And then everyone's like, you suck.
Yes, like Jock, you're an artist, right? Like, let's say like you have art. Let's say you enter your art in a contest. I make beats. Like, let's say if I enter a beat in a contest, and I'm like, okay, I just want to gauge, see where I'm at amongst my peers.
Yeah.
And then I win. Then somebody like, man, that beat's trash. I'm like, boy, if you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Depending on where you are in your mental space, that could ruin you. Yes. Or like, but regardless, it's not a good look.
Even overall. Worse than that, like this is like a bait, and this is she kind of got baited into it too. Like she didn't really like want to enter. Like she felt uncomfortable entering, so her friends were like encouraging her. Oh, I think Alex just froze. Oh no. So her friends like are like encouraging her, and it's like she clearly like understood that like, hey, like this is maybe like not my space and all that. So like she already like. And to push back on your thing, Dante, I think she does this sympathy. I feel like we like, well, not we, but like this school was wronged. Honestly, like this school was wronged. Like she did nothing wrong, and like it's just this is ugly. Like this is just one of those things where I'm like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, this is a lot of people fucked up here. And like, you know, the situation itself is like really unfortunate situation that's like emotionally volatile. But like, as much as like the people who like are upset because of like the representative situation, I think like also like, dude, you can't just you get threatened to kill go for this. Like this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like it's like we've reached a point where like this thing has blown up into this situation where now everyone did something wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like everyone
now.
Yeah, I mean, like, are we even now at this point? Because like the more I learn about this, I'm just like, okay, so just everyone fucked up across the board and just took turns fucking up. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it just got to this point, and like, can we? I mean, like, I don't know, like, how much more, like, how long does this thing need to burn before we're just like, all right, if Ash is a deuce, let's do something else. I mean, there's an anecdote to. Because to bring it back to do Black people own the N-word situation, there's an incident happened with, I think it was Kendrick Lamar. Yes, it was Kendrick Lamar at one of his concerts. He took one of his fans on stage to sing a few verses of a song with him. I think the song was Mad City. Yeah,
it was.
I think the song was Mad City, and the verse that he had, but the girl's white. The verse that he had her sing contained the N-word at the end of like every sentence for like 5-6 verses in a row.
Yeah, man, he set that poor girl up, man.
Yeah,
stop.
And it's just like, dude, like, yeah, like that's a setup. I'm sorry, like that's
man. Like you wrote the song, crap. Or someone gave you the song and you sing it, like you know.
And that's the part you have her sing, like, dude, like, well.
And she seemed like excited. Like, can you imagine?
Completely oblivious. Completely oblivious to the fact. Like right, you were in a moment. You're excited, and then like every bar is like you said. Every bar is
like, N-word, right?
N-word.
Yeah. And then here comes some little scrawny little caucus just dropping in and was like.
It's just like why? Weird. Like, that's mean. Like honestly, that's mean. And things that I understand. That's why I said like a lot of people want vengeance. I felt that, and I understand. You know, like I get it, man. Like there's some shit I'm still mad at. You know what I mean? Like there's some shit that happened purely because I'm Black and my friends are Black. I'm still mad at it, and I'll probably die mad about it. But then it's like, you know, it's like, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna be the monsters now. Like we're gonna be assholes. We're gonna be the racists. We're gonna
gatekeep.
Yes, we're gonna gatekeep. We're gonna be the bad one. We're gonna discriminate against them like they did to ourselves, like they did to us
for the past 400 years.
And then people, the thing is, like, it's so strange to see people being so proud and happy about that. So I'm like, did that make a better future for like
Vengeance
as
is
a whole?
unfortunately satisfying. Vengeance is actually this I can enlighten you on that. Vengeance is actually profoundly satisfying. It's one of the most dangerous things about it is that as vile as it is, the genuine pleasure you get out of vengeance is real. It's fucking real.
That is
tempting.
my toxic trait. I have
That
to
is a
get the
lot of
person back.
people.
I have to.
That is a lot of people's toxic trait. And it's kind of an understandable toxic trait. Apparently monkeys do it, like monkeys seek revenge, which I didn't know. That's
Well,
but
I know that.
yeah, right. So it's like it's this ancient attempt at fairness that exists in all of us. And the thing is that it is like it's gratifying, like, and some acts of vengeance are probably better than sex, I'd imagine. And
Debatable.
but we don't have to get into it. Well, put the coconut oil away. Anyways, but God, this was such a serious topic.
Oh my God. Can we get back to the topic? Let me address your vengeance thing real quick and then the discrimination thing real quick. So one of my favorite lines that I enjoy when people do talk about vengeance and things like that, and I have to look it up so I don't mess it up, is of course, when you seek revenge, you should go and dig two graves.
Yes.
Yep.
100.
Yeah.
And
it's
20%
not
true.
doing anything better for us as a people.
And I think that's in a game too.
What's that again?
That's in a game.
Yeah, it is in the game. I just can't remember what game.
Great quote. No, it's just a real world quote. Like people just quote that shit. Like like eye for an eye makes the whole world blind.
There we go. That's the second one. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. And that's what's happening here. No one wins in the end of this. Not a single one of us.
Not a
we
single
just make
soul.
everything look and make it so much worse. And we're supposed, each generation is supposed to make things better than the next. And I don't see that happening here.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this you can't recover, or it's gonna be hard to recover.
There's already
you can't
so
recover.
much to recover from. You
can. No,
like,
it's not gonna get recovered. No,
like I'm talking about BlerdCon specifically.
That's not gonna get recovered.
Like,
wait, what was Kenny talking about?
I think
anything. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I says anything. It's just like they're not going to be able to recover back from that. They're not going to be able to recover from what just happened. Then they're not going to be able to recover. It doesn't matter. You're going to be like, oh, we can recover. You're not.
It's like a stain, like a bleach stain.
Yeah,
you no matter what you do, you cannot get that bleach stain. It's going to be there.
It's going to stay there, and then now it's going to be like white people are going to be afraid to
even walk in the building
now, walk in the building or anything like that. It's going to just stay there,
and it's us. Like it's like flipped. It's like exactly like flip flop. Like it's us all over again. Like that was us. 2010s and 20, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. You know what I'm saying? Probably still now, depending on where you are. But you know what I mean? It's
this point in places still for sure.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's the exact same thing, just swapped. And it's like, how do y'all not see that that's wrong? Like
they say it as revenge.
Who's doing it? It's wrong. It is wrong to do that, no matter your color. And yet people are so proud.
Because I'd be damned if somebody tell me I can't walk into a gas station because I'm in Mississippi somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You can't enter here. Well, you got me fucked up. I'm gonna give you some like, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah. And then to top it off, like it's a cosplay contest. We're here to have fun and enjoy the craft and art. It's like enjoying the sport or enjoying the process of making art, the process of developing a new skill with someone else. And then they're like, oh, you're that color, you can't enjoy this.
Yeah, the art is lost. At this point, the art is officially lost. Like I'm not even in cosplay, but I can see it. Like the art is officially gone. And once you lose the art of something, the love of something is gone. Like it's gonna take a long road. I think Jack was saying as an artist, like if an artist is like don't do what they do for a long time, they're in the pit of despair, like they're in an abyss. Yeah. So it's like that's where BlerdCon is at right now. They're in that sunken place, that little that spot where it's like you can't pull them out of.
Yep, and I bet in that one situation, That one, and people don't realize that one con, that one costume contest, that one thing shook the whole world of cosplay.
Yeah, there are
Yep.
many people who saw that and they were like, "I'm not going to an anime convention." Even you, Dante, you saw, you're like,
Right.
"Why would I want to be
Like-
a part? Why would I go?"
I wouldn't, before this, I had a slight interest in going. I don't like crowds of people. I just don't like people.
Yeah.
But if there's like a group,
Understandable.
like if I was in Virginia, you know what I'm saying, and y'all say, hey, we're going to BlerdCon, I said, oh, okay, I ain't doing nothing. I'm gonna try to give my days away
Yeah.
or whatever and try to
We'll
go
go.
with y'all.
Mhm.
As a social activity, right?
Yep.
But now it's like, oh, I'm going to BlerdCon.
Yeah. Disappear.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
actually, it's not going to shake the whole. It's only going to shake the cosplay community in America. That's all it's going to do.
Yeah.
Because cosplay community everywhere else is fine.
Yeah. I mean, there's a
Oh,
lot of
boy.
like, even looking when I was reading through art, like, a lot of articles came out about this event. And then when I was like, first, like looking at it, I was just like, huh, that's kind of ironic. And then I just moved on in my life because it's like, it does cool. She won. Congrats to her. Like, this is your skill coming into fruition. You can do anything you put your heart to and try, blah, blah, right? And then I saw the aftermath. I was like, yo, y'all can't be serious.
Yeah.
Y'all can't really be this discriminatory when y'all really making this fight. Because at the end of the day, even though those arguments and image, sure, I agree, it's important, but every single avenue leads to y'all being discriminatory.
Yeah, right.
Every avenue.
And like the comment when we first initially had the conversation, Alex, at first I was kind of like, I can understand. Like, I understand you want to make a space for Black people.
And,
right?
and the thing is, though, but they did. That's the entire convention.
But the fact that this one little blip overshadowed the whole thing. Like, initially I'm like, oh damn, that's kind of messed up. Why would they have a white girl win a BlerdCon when it's for Black people? But then talking to you, Alex, and then just looking through stuff and just like doing research on it, I'm like, wait, hold up. This is a contest. You can't win a contest that you can't, I'm saying, that you're not qualified for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if, like you said, if you go to the BlerdCon website, they're like, oh, but Blerd, which is completely asinine, I guess. But
yeah,
it could be anybody.
Definition.
Yeah, it could be anybody. Like, first of all, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But if you're going to have that on your page, then don't be mad when. So what you going to do if, like, somebody of another race, I can't just pick any race, enters and they win it? Are you gonna have the same outrage?
Even that, like,
or is it because she's white?
Black?
Well, the thing is, another person did win, and I heard nothing about it. I don't know if there was outrage. I don't know if it wasn't enough outrage, but the media loves baiting white versus Black all the time. But another race did win, and I didn't hear a thing about it. Not saying maybe it could have been the same outrage. I don't know. I just know from what I was reading through.
Maybe because she was white. Maybe.
But
who won the second person?
I think it was the second year.
Oh, well, I'm not sure about that. But
yeah, because BlerdCon's only been around, I think, 4 years. I think this is the 4th year it's been here. Wow. So it's a brand, it's a baby con, it's brand new.
Oh, so this is probably growing pains, if anything. Like,
they about to be, them growing pains about to be going real quick.
No, but
what I would have been, I would have been fine if they would have just let the girl win her costume contest and just get it up and just pick somebody else to be a different representative for the anime convention. Yeah, that would have been. I would have been like, okay, that's fine. Like,
yeah, I mean, if she has the power to say, even though I won, I want this person to be the representative of BlerdCon to go. Like, if she had that ability to do so, like if they were exclusive, like Jock was saying, like maybe there's a contest for that, but once you start separating these things, you go down the most slippery slope ever, because you're always gonna have people saying, how come there isn't something for like Filipinos to join? How come there isn't something for like 100% Native Americans to join? How come there isn't? And you just start.
Well, the thing about that is I don't want to say this,
but no, do it.
But the thing is about that is that every other culture just doesn't give a fuck.
Nope.
They just don't give a fuck. It's only ours.
It's the social climate in America.
What did you say, John?
Yeah, to expand on that. So Black people, we're in like a very weird, like Black people in America, we're in this very weird position where it's like we're both a minority, but also
A majority.
there's enough of us, exactly. There is enough of us to generally make certain things happen. So like there's enough of us to have entire industries devoted exclusively to us, to our hair, for example, right? You can have an entire blurred convention, right? So it's like it's not even like a convention that's specifically just about Black culture. It's a very specific. I mean, it's a specific age range. It's a specific like, you know what I mean. And even then, you can still get a con. The reason why I would imagine like they probably can't pull off like something like maybe like a, I don't know the numbers, but I'd say like a Native American nerd con is it might be too hard to get that many people.
Well, no,
You
no, I'm
know,
not
it,
Oh,
saying
no,
for
no,
a
no, no.
con. And
It's
no, I
just
was just saying
any
for a contest.
for a contest or anything. It doesn't. They ultimate. Okay, most people I've spoken to here that are not like African American or white or anything. They're mostly just happy just to be here or be
yeah,
alive
they
or
are.
anything like that. That's why I said they just don't care. Like it's
Mm.
oh, okay, that's cool. Like there was an outrage about a Disney made a Filipino like short film, and Black people were up in arms about it. It's like, yo, where's our short film? And it's
we
just
got
like,
we got Princess in the no, right, never mind. Go
No,
ahead.
don't.
Nah, don't go there. Do not go there.
So it was just like, so they were like, yeah, where's our film and then like that, and I'm just like, yo, like Filipinos and this, they don't got anything. We at least have something.
Yeah, they at least
Like
try. They at
I was
least
like,
try
it
to
was
put
like,
us in
and
movies.
they was happy. Like, but funny thing is, like, most Filipino I talked to, it was like, oh yeah, it was good, and just go on with their day. I'm like,
I mean, this goes back to the idea of like, when I say that stuff about like moving to Africa,
What
it
about
gets a
it?
little, huh?
I said, what about it?
It's just like sometimes like I kind of America kind of isn't our country in a lot of ways.
Yep, that's another point I
And
made.
it's
This place
just
isn't ours.
yeah, and so a
country
lot
for
of times I kind
everybody.
of am like, maybe I don't know. It's like one of those ideas where it's like it's a great idea, but then like the actual application of it seems to be interesting and difficult. But yeah, I think like part of it might actually be just have like I don't know, like somewhere where like we feel more ownership towards like a more legitimate ownership, right? Because if you're too attached to the identity of being a Black American, you're putting yourself in a situation like you're trying to affect a country in
Bro,
ways that like you what's up?
bro, it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter where we go. Like, I don't know. We carry, most Black Americans carry that
Wherever they go.
sorrow wherever the fuck they go, or
This
and
is true.
it just carries on anywhere. Like I said, I was in Kuwait, and there were Black people there. Like I could say that country is maybe 5 to 10% white. Has 5 to 10% white people there. Um, the Black Americans were there, and they did the same shit they did here and got themselves in trouble in a whole nother country. So it's just like, yeah, they can leave. We can leave. We could do, we could do everything else. But if you carry that same stuff, you go to another country, yo, you're gonna be in a worse situation.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
perpetuating
it's
the
pretty.
cycle.
I've been kind of looking up just a couple of different articles on it that came out. There's a poll people did. A total of about 500 people voted. Pretty much saying, should this person was I'll just read the poll. Was a white girl winning acceptable? Right. So then there's a no. This is a convention for Black nerds. Why the constant inclusion? Yes, this is focused on US, but the best should win. And then other. About 500 people voting, 462 voted no. This is a convention for Black nerds. Why the constant inclusion? That
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't matter Where? Doesn't matter where, because they have that sort of girls went to Europe. They went to Europe. 2 black girls went to Europe. They felt like they were being judged because of the color of their skin. No, you're being judged because you're American. That was the main thing.
Not everything's about race. But
When
let's just try and keep it about this one here, though. But just overall, though, just I don't think this makes anything better for anyone in general, whether you agree with us or not. Just going forward, if this is the stance taken that only a black person can win this because it's BlerdCon, it doesn't make anything better for us as a whole, especially having that literally in your rule set. Because then what stops anyone else from doing that to us in their rule set?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't enjoy that. Maybe we didn't enjoy that. That's kind of like the entire reason, at least possibly. I don't know the reason for BlerdCon coming in. Maybe he wanted to uplift people in his community, like specifically, because that's something that some people do. So everyone has a different reason why they target a specific demographic.
And this is hosted by the black that black guy, right? The older black guy.
Yeah.
If I was him, I just wouldn't throw one next year.
I mean, they're doing it next year. It's just, I mean, once again, usually it's the small voices yell the loudest. A lot of people came to BlerdCon and enjoyed their time, but a lot of people who saw this controversy and looked from the outside who didn't feel comfortable commenting,
don't want
or A, didn't know, B, they saw that discourse and they were like, yeah, I'm not coming back, or I'm not going to a convention like this, or I don't want to be affiliated around people like this. So I'm just saying there's a way to have these conversations, and that's what it is. It's a conversation. It shouldn't be you guys sending death threats to people.
No, that's the best thing they got.
Have a discourse and let's talk about this.
Oh,
and with that, Dante,
is that a wrap up?
Yeah, man, let us wrap this up. So please, let's continue the discourse and be respectful with your discourse. That's really the biggest thing. So of course, no ad hominems, no name calling, anything like that. Just if you disagree, just explain.
Just talk about it. Like, don't just be over there sending up death threats. Death threats don't solve anything.
They don't. They're becoming so common. Sadly enough, it's just like
so sadly, it's just like it's just another 2. Yeah, I wonder how some people will just feel all right.
Yeah, man. Can you imagine anime creators and they get death threats every time like a character dies or like a TV show? They're just like, man, it's just another Wednesday, Bob. It's just
like season 5
should be taken seriously. It's your life, but if it happens long enough, But anyway, let's continue the discussion down below. Like, let's just have a talk about it. Just see where y'all stand at.
Hit like, smash the like, hit the subscribe button. Click, done.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, though.
Thanks for joining us on this conversation about BlerdCon. I probably won't be going next year.
None of us will.
Yeah. It was rough,
Lord.
yeah.